Take you to KZN now, where Police Minister Bheki Cele is receiving a briefing at the Eshowe Police Station. This after the massacre of 6 members of the Khumalo family on Saturday who were shot and killed in their home. The suspect is a 36-year-old relative who was arrested and set to appear in court. Newzroom Afrika's Bonga Dlulane is there. Bonga, very good morning to you. A very, very sad and distressing story. This 36-year-old, he is the suspect. What could have led him to do this, if indeed he did do it?
Good morning, Xoli. That's the information we're hoping to receive from the police and the police minister. What we do know is that the man, the 36-year-old, allegedly on Saturday, convened a meeting with his family, asked them to come into the family room, and then he tried to break inside with an axe. That's where he shot and killed all 6 of them. And then the only survivor is a 9-year-old girl who apparently escaped with her life by hiding, Xoli, and crying herself to sleep. That's the gruesomeness of that story where they were found. And also the police now are basically briefing the minister as to what happened, because there was a bit of a search for him because he fled the scene after he allegedly committed those crimes, because he hasn't appeared in court. So his name is still being withheld at the moment. I did ask the police when exactly is that expected, but they told us they'll get back to me about his appearance in court. But he has to appear in court within 48 hours. So if arrested on Monday, it had to happen on Tuesday or today. Today is the last day. So I'm sure we'll be getting more information as to what led to these gruesome killings, who is he, and also what's the step forward now. And hopefully Mr. Cele and his team will be able to also give us more details regarding this terrible, terrible tragedy that happened Saturday. Basically, you said it's a massacre, only 9-year-old girl surviving, and she escaped with her life, Claudia.
What a terrible story. Bonga, the police minister, what time did he touch down in Eshowe, and how long has it been in that meeting now? Are we any closer to receiving that briefing from him?
We're hoping, Xoli, that very soon. The minister started his briefing around 10 o'clock. That was when the program was sent out to the media alert that we should be here at 10. It's starting at 10. His spokesperson, Lorenzo Temba, came out a short while ago saying that they won't be long. Now, you know that could mean anything from 15 minutes to an hour, so you never know exactly what that. So we live in hope right now as to when he'll come out of there. But Minister Cele also has a lot of questions to answer, Xoli, regarding the violence of this, because you remember a few weeks ago, he presented the quarterly crime stats, and KZN had one of the highest numbers of murders, and this also does not shine a bright light, Xoli. It's a dent, basically, and it's particularly important when you talk about violence and gender-based violence, because at the end of the gun here is a man also, and the people victims there, they were women. So there's a lot of questions to be answered, lots of issues to be untangled regarding the violent nature of the crime, and also who's involved, because the victims range from 8 years old to 70. So you can just tell the kind of trauma this family had, but also the trauma that's left with the surviving family member, the 9-year-old girl, but the neighbors too might be able to shed some light as to what happened. Who is he? What was the issues before? So a lot of things that the minister and his team need to answer to, but what they've been very proud about is the fact that after a short search, they were able to nab the man who had run away from the scene, and that's where he is now in custody. So a lot of issues that Dlulane needs to touch upon, only particularly when it comes to a gruesome murder like this. 6 family members of the Khumalo family slain by a relative, and there's more questions as to answers as to what led the men, what are police doing to find out the circumstances of those killings.
Yeah, and it's important to mention, Bonga, that it is indeed a good job on the police's side that they were able to arrest this 36-year-old, and also just looking broadly at, for example, the murder of Eshowe here in Gauteng, the alleged mastermind, the boyfriend, also arrested this week, appearing in court. So at least there are some successes. But on a separate matter, Bonga, the police minister is respondent number 2 and his commissioner respondent number 3 in an affidavit that has been filed before the Constitutional Court on the matter involving the former president. We know the minister went to Nkandla last week. This will be an opportunity for you, the journalists there, to pose the question to him about whether they are going to put into action the request that is being made by the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture to effect an arrest on a man as big as the former president.
And the eyes are all on him, Xoli, as you said, and the police commissioner, because you'd have to make decisions, tough decisions, because Bheki Cele, for reasons he is still yet to divulge, visited the former president, his home, and then he left after a marathon meeting without giving us any details. It was sanctioned by cabinet or it was sanctioned by the ANC. But he did go on and say that he went there at his own volition. So we still have those answers. But coming back to your question, yes, it's something that we have to ask him and ask, because the State Capture Commission named him and the police commissioner as first and second respondents in court. They have to carry out this tough task, because a former president is never arrested before in this country. And if it comes to that, then the positions as minister and police commissioner, they do go through them. So they're in a tough position if they do, in a tough position if they don't, because they'll be the people who are known as to also rejecting or not listening to court orders if it comes to that, that they've been instructed or an arrest warrant has been issued against the former president. So indeed, we'll have to get answers from the minister too as to exactly where he stands regarding that, because he'll have little choice if the presidency, if the courts deem that an arrest warrant must go out, and we'll also find out from him if he'll be opposing the application. That's the Constitutional Court, because as you mentioned, he is the second respondent regarding that. So tough choices for the minister, and also hopefully be giving us an indication as to where he's at regarding that. But whatever happens, he has a lot on his plate, and we'll see how it plays out, Xoli.
All right, Bonga, Dlulane will, I'm sure, touch base with you in a bit as soon as the police minister does come out to address you there, Bonga Dlulane, live for us. And also important to mention that the whole issue around whether or not the former president will be arrested will, of course, hinge on whether the Constitutional Court does find that the former president has been in contempt of court.